Most African immigrants in Portugal have one of two relationships with credit. Either they are completely avoiding it, because where they come from, debt is dangerous, banks are not to be trusted, and borrowing money is a sign of weakness or desperation. Or they are trying to access it and getting rejected, without understanding why, or what they need to do differently. Both positions leave money on the table. And both come from the same root problem. Nobody explained how the credit system in Portugal actually works. Today that changes. This is the complete credit and borrowing guide built specifically for immigrants in Portugal, covering how your credit history is tracked here, why Portugal's system is fundamentally different from what you may know from Nigeria, the UK, or anywhere else, how to build credit from zero, and what you actually need to access a mortgage as an immigrant. Here is the insight that changes everything, and the one most immigrants never learn. Portugal does not use a credit score system the way the UK, the United States, or even Nigeria's credit bureaus do. In the UK there is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. In the US there is the FICO score. These systems generate a numerical score, 300 to 850, that summarizes your creditworthiness in a single number. Portugal has no equivalent numerical score. Instead, Portuguese banks consult a document called the Mapa de Responsabilidades de Crédito, issued by the Banco de Portugal's Central de Responsabilidades de Crédito, or CRC, a database that centralizes information about all credit agreements and financial responsibilities assumed by individuals and companies in Portugal. Before granting any credit, whether a home loan, personal loan, or credit card, banks are required to consult the Mapa de Responsabilidades de Crédito of the Banco de Portugal. This is critical. There is no score. There is a record. The Mapa de Responsabilidades de Crédito is not just a blacklist of bad payers. It includes all credit agreements, whether they are current or in default. It is a complete record of your credit history. What does this mean for you as an immigrant? If you have never taken out any credit in Portugal, no personal loan, no credit card, no car finance, your Mapa is essentially blank. Banks see a blank record and have no basis to assess your creditworthiness. That blank record is not neutral. In the eyes of a Portuguese bank, it reads as uncertainty. This is why immigrants with good financial habits get rejected for credit. Not because they have bad credit. Because they have no credit history in Portugal at all. The Mapa de Responsabilidades de Crédito is updated every month. Financial institutions report credit responsibilities and the financial situation of clients at the last day of each month, and the Banco de Portugal updates the information in the following month. Every month, registered entities submit information relating to all credit agreements of their customers at the end of the previous month to the Banco de Portugal, provided that the initial amount is over €50. You can access your Mapa de Responsabilidades de Crédito. It is free, online at the Banco de Portugal's portal do Cliente Bancário, at clientebancário.bportugal.pt, using authentication with your Chave Movo Digital or Cartão de Cidadão. You can also request it in person at any Banco de Portugal branch. As an immigrant without a Cartão de Cidadão, accessing this system requires specific authentication steps. Keep your NIF active and linked to your Portuguese tax portal. This is your primary authentication method. As of February 2026, the Banco de Portugal published Instruction No January 2026, which updated and strengthened the rules of the Central de Responsabilidades de Crédito. Under the new rules, individuals now have access to more detailed maps about the credits for which they are responsible, whether as debtors or as guarantors. The practical implication for you: download your Mapa today. Even if you have never borrowed in Portugal, a blank record tells you exactly what you are working with. And it gives you the baseline to start building from. Building a credit history in Portugal when you start from zero requires a deliberate, patient approach. Here are the four most effective methods, in order of ease. Method 1, a secured credit card or beginner credit card. Several Portuguese banks offer entry-level credit cards with low limits specifically for people with no credit history. Millennium BCP, Nova Banco, and Santander Portugal all offer products accessible to legal residents. Apply for the lowest limit available. Use it for one small recurring expense, your phone bill, your transport card top-up. Pay the full balance every single month before the due date. Never pay the minimum. Never carry a balance. Within 6 to 12 months of consistent full payment, your MAPA begins to show a pattern of reliable credit behavior. That pattern is what Portuguese banks are looking for. Method 2, a small personal loan paid on time. Some immigrants find it easier to access a small personal loan, €500 to €1,000, from their existing bank where they hold a current account and receive their salary. Banks are more willing to lend small amounts to existing customers. Borrow the minimum available. Repay it over the shortest term offered. Pay on time every month without exception. The loan itself is not the point. The repayment record on your MAPA is the point. Method 3, avoid being a guarantor for others. The MAPA includes not just your own credit agreement but also potential responsibilities, guarantees you have provided to third parties, even when there is no default. Many immigrants in Portugal are pressured by community members to act as guarantors for their credit applications. Being a guarantor means that if the primary borrower defaults, the debt becomes yours. This can destroy your MAPA in a single incident. Never act as guarantor for someone whose financial reliability you cannot verify completely. Method 4, maintain a clean banking record. Your current account behavior is visible to your bank even where it is not directly reported to the CRC. Consistent salary income, no unauthorized overdrafts, regular savings behavior, these signals inform a bank's internal credit assessment even before the MAPA is consulted. The mortgage question is what most immigrants are actually asking when they ask about credit. Can you get a mortgage in Portugal as an immigrant? The answer, yes. Portuguese banks provide mortgage financing to international buyers, including both residents and non-residents. However, the conditions vary significantly depending on residency status, income profile, and country of origin. Here is what the numbers look like specifically for immigrants who are legal residents in Portugal. Residents legally living in Portugal can usually borrow up to 80 to 90% of a property's value, meaning a 10 to 20% deposit. Non-residents are limited to around 65 to 75%, meaning a 25 to 35% deposit. As a legally resident immigrant in Portugal, meaning you hold a valid residency permit and are a Portuguese tax resident, you are assessed more like a resident than a non-resident. This is a significant advantage over immigrants who are not yet tax resident here. Portuguese banks assess your debt service to income ratio, your total monthly financial obligations including mortgages, loans, and credit cards cannot exceed approximately 35% of your monthly income after taxes. On a €1,200 net salary, as covered in why your Portuguese salary feels like nothing, your maximum total monthly credit commitments would be approximately €420. That limits what you can borrow significantly at lower income levels. In early 2026, Portuguese non-resident mortgage rates run roughly 3.4 to 4.5%, about 0.3 to 0.7% above the resident rate. Popular banks for foreigners include Millennium BCP, BPI, Nova Banco, Santander Portugal, CGD, and UCI, a lender specializing in expat mortgages. The honest reality on mortgages for immigrants currently earning in the €1,200 to €1,500 gross salary range, you are not yet in mortgage territory. Your debt-to-income ratio limits mean you cannot service a meaningful mortgage at current property prices in Porto or Lisbon on that salary. The mortgage becomes realistic at €2,500 to €3,000 net monthly income, which is why salary growth, career development, and building assets through ETFs first is the correct sequencing covered throughout this series. 3 specific credit mistakes made regularly in the immigrant community. Mistake 1, avoiding all credit because debt feels dangerous. Debt used correctly is leverage. A credit card paid in full every month costs nothing in interest, builds your MAPA, and gives you purchasing protection. Avoiding all credit does not make you financially disciplined in the Portuguese context. It makes you invisible to the banking system. Mistake 2, applying for multiple credit products simultaneously. Every credit application triggers a check of your MAPA. Multiple applications in a short period signal financial desperation to lenders and can flag your record negatively. Apply for one product. Build the history. Then apply for the next. Mistake 3, trusting community advice over verified banking information. As covered in the financial mistake most African immigrants make in year 1, shared nationality is not financial expertise. Credit advice from a WhatsApp group is not credit advice. The Banco de Portugal's portal do client bancario is free, accurate, and in English. Use it. Here is the complete credit building roadmap for immigrants in Portugal, sequenced correctly. Month 1 to 3, download your mapper from clientebancario.bportugal.pt. Review it. Understand your starting point. Month 3 to 6, apply for one beginner credit card or small personal loan at your existing bank. Use it minimally. Pay in full every month. Month 6 to 12, maintain consistent full payment. No missed payments. No minimum payments. No new applications. Month 12 to 18, your mapper now shows a 12-month clean repayment record. You are buildable credit history. Consider a slightly higher credit limit or a second product if needed. Year 2 onwards, with a clean mapper, stable income, and growing assets through your ETF portfolio, you are now building the profile that Portuguese banks respect for larger lending decisions, including eventually a mortgage. This is not fast. It is not meant to be. It is the legitimate, sustainable path from invisible to creditworthy in the Portuguese banking system. Avoiding credit entirely does not make you financially strong in Portugal. It makes you financially invisible. Understanding how the system works, downloading your mapper, building a clean repayment record, knowing exactly what Portuguese banks look at when you apply, is the difference between being shut out of the financial system and using it strategically to build toward the life you came to Europe to create. Next week, salary negotiation in Europe as an immigrant. How to earn more, how to approach the conversation without fear, and why most immigrants leave thousands of euros on the table every single year. Subscribe. That video is worth money immediately.